Hi, it's time for another verb of the day. Today's verb is deduce. Let's take a look at some of the definitions or ways that we use this verb. The first way you might hear the verb deduce used is to mean to arrive at a fact or a conclusion using reasoning skills. So this action requires for us to think and process information to reach that particular conclusion. The second definition is also very closely related. It is to draw as a logical conclusion. So again, all of this is sort of connected through a thinking process. You should know that deduce is a regular verb. To make the progressive form, we're going to drop the E and then add ing to form deducing. The past tense and participle forms of this verb are made by just adding the letter D since this verb already ends in an E. The base verb, deduce, ends in an S sound. So our past tense ending is going to make a T sound. Deduced, deduced. You'll be happy to know I don't have any additional meanings through phrasal verbs, so this will allow us to focus on using our verb of the day in the simple present and the present perfect. Let's start with the simple present. We use this verb tense to talk about our habits and routines. We also use it to discuss facts. And in the affirmative, the thing you need to remember is that our verb will change a little bit based on the subject. So if the subject is I, you, we, or they, then you just use this base verb, deduce, exactly like it's spelled on the screen. But if our subject is he, she, or it, so one person or one thing, then we need to add an S to the end of the verb. And this is only in the affirmative. So let's take a look at an example sentence. Epidemiologists deduce the cause of disease, identify people who are at risk, and determine how to stop the spread. So this is a type of scientist, and it's describing sort of their job responsibilities, their duties. And notice, because it's plural, this is our subject is like they, so I'm referring to more than one, so I didn't add that S to the end of the verb. But if I had just been talking about a single person, then I would have put an S there. Now let's look at making a negative simple present sentence. To do this, I'm going to use do not and then the base verb when my subjects are I, you, we, or they. Or I'll use does not and then the base verb when the subjects are either he, she, or it. Let's look at another sentence. Artificial intelligence, you might hear this called AI. Either one of those would work here. AI doesn't deduce conclusions like humans do. So if you read it in technology journals or even maybe a little bit in science fiction, the sentence might make more sense to you, but kind of the idea of robots and their intelligence and their thinking process is different than human beings. Now, if I want to make a yes or no question in the simple present, I'm going to start with do or does. Whichever word there matches my subject, which comes next, and then I'm going to use the base verb. Here's another example. Does this report deduce the effectiveness of the treatment? Now let's take a look at the present perfect. We tend to use this verb tense in two different situations. We might use it to refer to a completed action in the past tense, but the time at which that action was completed is unknown. I sometimes refer to this as the indefinite past tense. So we don't know, did it happen yesterday or 10 years ago? And that just might not matter. Another time that present perfect gets used is to refer to an action that has started in the past and it continues into the present. To make an affirmative present perfect sentence, we need two parts. If our subject is I, you, we, or they, we're going to use have. But if our subjects are he, she, or it, then we'll use has. And either after have or has, you're going to use the participle form of the verb, which here just happens to be the same as the simple past tense. Let's take a look at an affirmative example. Researchers have deduced that we underestimate the power of a compliment. So, another way to think of this, they have concluded, they have reached this particular conclusion. Now, if I want to make a negative present perfect sentence, I need to insert not after have or has. Here's another example. The cybersecurity firm hasn't deduced who hacked the computer system. So cyber is referring to computers, technology, and in many cases also kind of referring to the internet. And hack might be a word you're unfamiliar with. This is referring to somebody who accesses another person's computer, or it could be their phone as well. Any piece of technology, maybe a system of computers. So they access it illegally. They do not have permission to do it, and they might be doing that to steal information. Finally, let's make a yes or no question in the present perfect. Again, I'm going to start with have or has, whichever helping verb there helps match our subject. And then we're going to use the participle form of the verb. So here's another example yes or no question. Have you deduced the meaning of his social media posts? So have you figured out, have you come to a conclusion why he's sharing this particular information? Now let's take a look at some words that are related to our verb deduce. And the first word we're going to look at is the noun deduction. Now, I'm going to tell you this word can have a couple different meanings, but we're just going to focus on the meaning that connects to our particular verb. So, for purposes of our video today, deduction means the act or the process of deducing. So, it's the process of reasoning, of coming to a particular conclusion. Here is an example sentence. Detectives must identify suspects through deduction from facts. So they must arrive at some sort of conclusion. The last word we'll take a look at is the adjective deductive. And what we're describing here is something that is based on deduction. So just that noun, that process of reasoning we've been talking about. Here's an example of this adjective in a sentence. This activity will require you to use deductive reasoning to reach a conclusion. So sometimes various classes, could be at the high school level, could be at a collegiate level, will offer a study of logic. So kind of this idea of connecting ideas in order to reach a conclusion, make some sort of judgment or assessment. And in many of those classes, this is a major topic, deductive reasoning. And that could be a series of many, many different videos, but I'll stop and maybe let you search away here on YouTube to check it out. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you have a great day.